Hey, welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco, and it is a Money Monday, and it's all about the Benjamins today, even right down to the guests. And one of the most money guests we've ever had on the show joins us for the second time. Dante Nero is here. He is a actor, comedian, self-help guru, and the host of the Man School 202 podcast, which you got to check out. Dante, thank you for coming back.
Thanks for having me, man.
We've moved since we saw you last.
Yeah, I liked it in the studio.
You like it?
Yeah.
Thank you. And since you were on last time, you were talking about Ray Donovan, and that you couldn't tell me anything. It was all on the hush hush. And then I saw you on Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
So you know,
I'm working. I'm grinding.
Was a pretty cool turn.
Thank you.
What's going on with the Man School podcast?
It's kind of an old school look at being a man. I have three principles that I operate on: is authenticity, credibility, and empathy. And I think those are just kind of old school type principles that we've departed from in a lot of ways. And I think that's where all the problems come from, and people's inability to, or their need to validate themselves in situations that they probably don't deserve to be validated in the same breath.
So this guy Ari Shaffir has run into some serious career problems here with some of the comments he made about Kobe Bryant. I want to take a look at this and get your thoughts on it. There's, I guess he made...
There's a lot of hate, pain in the world, and there's always a bunch of terrible stories. And every once in a while, there's a good story. A good story comes out. The guy who got away with rape got his today. Kobe Bryant is gone. I'm here in Charlotte, the home of the team that originally drafted him. Maybe he wouldn't have raped that chick in Denver if he had stayed in Charlotte with the Hornets. But anyway, the point is, dude, it's
wow. That's this guy needs some man schooling, I think.
Well, you know, what's interesting is I know Ari is a good friend of mine.
Still?
Look, I mean, we all have our opinions, and I think what's interesting to understand is we all have freedom of speech. Comics have freedom of speech. You just don't have freedom of consequences. And so when you're dealing with you have certain ideologies or whatever, you can spout them out, but then you also, so does the people who receive it. They get to receive it in a way that they want to receive it. And this is what's happening. I mean, again, this is what I just said is that people want to be in conversations that they really don't deserve. Ari has no real dog in the fight of Kobe Bryant or what he did, and he wasn't convicted of rape. And so to call somebody a rapist when they haven't been convicted of rape, and the particulars of that particular case was also that there's a lot more to that. So
my friend Frankie over there and I have engaged in some gratuitous PR stunts in the past. I think this guy may have accomplished the one thing he wanted, was to get some attention, because I never heard of him before. Now a lot of people heard of him. But a cheap way to get there.
Well, so Dante, I know a New York comedy club has canceled his appearance. I know his own talent agency has dropped him. Not in addition to that video that we put out, this was far from a moment of insanity. He also tweeted basically the same thing and added, he got away with rape because all the Hollywood liberals who attack comedy enjoy rooting for the Lakers more than they dislike rape. Now, this has some conservatives saying that the reason he's being blackballed is because he attacked liberals. If things had been reversed, do you think the ramifications would have been the same? If it was somebody that if he was calling out conservatives for their behavior after someone died and letting them get away with rape, do you think the ramifications would have been the same?
Absolutely. I think it's absolutely. I think people are offended by what they're offended by, on the left, on the right, otherwise. And the thing is that we contort ourselves to basically throw bail money to the people who we attribute to that we're on their side. And I think the interesting thing is whenever we want to know what's right or wrong, let's reflect it back to ourselves so we could see, how would I feel if I was the wife of this man who just lost a 13-year-old daughter, lost my husband, the father of my children, and is it really important to make a statement like that when you don't really have a dog in the fight in the first place.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes the insanity gets so crazy that on Liquid Lunch, I actually have a liquid lunch.
Yeah,
You know, and
fair enough.
yesterday was Super Bowl Sunday, so I hit it a little hard. And when we had Richard DeSico on, so I was talking about the Hooters Heat. I didn't want to tell him, you know about this whole Corona thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
So I'm drinking this.
It's fighting the
And
coronavirus.
what I found out from a doctor we had on last week, I didn't want medical remedy to fighting off the
This
coronavirus.
is scientific. This is science.
the scientific
Yeah.
drink right here.
I
And
got you.
you drink one of these every day.
You're good.
When are you going to have us, me and Frankie, on the
I
man's school?
want to have you on. I want to. Well, in fact, let's figure it out after today. Let's figure out a date so you guys can come on.
Well, you said that last time.
I know, and I did read.
He did reach out, and you
See?
did not respond to the email.
That's not true. You gave me one day and said we have to be in Brooklyn at like 2:30
Yes.
or something, and we're on air till 2. So I didn't think that was a bona fide offer.
We can. It's always a bona fide offer. for
I'm
you.
busting chops,
It's
man.
always-
I love
know.
you, buddy. You're the best. I almost cursed even. I haven't done that in 9 months. But Dante Nero, always here for us. Check out his podcast, the Man School 202, and hopefully one of these days you'll hear Frankie and I on there. Check out the Ray Donovans. If you haven't, if you're not up to speed, go back, watch them all because it was a great season, and he was one of the highlights of it for me because he's my friend. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to medicate myself so that I make it through today's show without the coronavirus. And we'll come back right after this with some news of the day, some live impeachment, all that other good stuff right after this.